Hi guys, what I am doing today is trying to make you a video that will help in explaining your final project. So where I'm at right now, let's take one step back. So as you can see, these are all my teams here. You all have been added to a separate team from your English and history class so that we can keep things organized. Where you're going to find all of your resources to your final project is in Final Project US and English 11. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. Now over to the side you can see two different options. You have the English option and you have the history option. You are only doing, let's be very clear, you are only doing one of these projects. This one project is going to count for both history and English. Okay, so just one project, and that is going to count for both classes. So let's first take a peek at the Files tab up here, because when you click on this, you're going to see the US History option folder. And we're going to go ahead and click on that. In here, you will find all of the documents that you need. So let's go ahead and look at each one of these documents. First, let's start with what the heck is this project? The U.S. history option is going to be a little bit different than what we're used to this year. So first and foremost, I want to start with the due date for this project is June 12th. You have to hand this in by June 12th if you want any credit for it, okay? So what is the project? This project is going to be on the song We Didn't Start the Fire. Now, if you've never heard this song before, I will show you in just a minute where you can find this. But this song is a compilation of historical personalities, events from the years 1949 and 1989. The song was released in 1989, and it really shows all of the significant events, peoples during the time period of the Cold War. The song lyrics you are going to look at and inspect to answer some questions and really demonstrate your knowledge of social studies here. While it might seem like the song is just a long list of names, places, and events, it really does hold historical meaning. And your job is going to be to know what that meaning is in relation to the Cold War period. So there are three parts to this project. Part one, you are going to choose one verse from each section and describe the terms and persons within that verse. The questions I'm asking you is what year is being addressed? What is the term, or who is the person? What is the significance of each term? Answer the question why. Why is it included in this song? So what do I mean choose one verse from each section of the song? Well, if you scroll down, I have included the song here. So you are going to choose one section or one verse from each section. So that means if I'm looking at these four options, I am going to just pick one. And if I look at section 2, I am picking 1. Section 3, same thing, I'd pick 1. Section 4, same thing, I'd pick 1. And section 5, same thing, pick 1. Okay, so you're doing one section or one verse from each section of the song. So what do you do with these terms? Okay, so we have Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Walter Winchell, Joe DiMaggio. Those are different people, places, events. What do we have to do with that? Well, we have to answer the questions from above. What year is this? Who is the person? What is the term? What is the significance? And we are going to do that in 2 to 3 sentences. Now, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, that's so much research. How am I going to do all of this? Well, if you look back at Teams, you're going to see that there are 3 resources here. Resource 1 and Resource 2 are going to help you provide those definitions. So if we look at Reference 1, you are going to see We Didn't Start the Fire Facts History Summary 1949 to 1989. This is going to go through each and every single term, person, event, place that is in the song. This here tells you Harry S. Truman, who he was, what year, important things that happened during that presidency. Does the same thing for Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, and all throughout the 117 terms that are included in the song. Now, if we look at the second reference, this does the exact same thing, just gives you a different definition, maybe some different information. You can use either one. You can look at both of these references, whatever is going to help you answer those questions the best. This one also goes through all of the terms in the song. Okay? So you've got 2 places to help you answer part 1. Now I will tell you, and I want to make this very clear, do not copy from the references. If you copy from either of these websites to answer part 1, you will receive a 0. Those are just for reference. You are going to go, you're going to read them, you're going to come up with your own answers to these questions, 2 to 3 sentences for each term. I am not asking for a paragraph, just a couple sentences that answers what is being addressed, what's the significance, tell me what's going on. All right, that's part 1. Let's go on to part 2. Part 2, you are going to write your own verse based on the current time period that we are in. In your verse, you are going to have 7 to 10 terms, peoples, events, just like the song did. And for each of those 7 to 10 terms, people, or events, you are going to explain the significance. Why? You're answering the question, why did you include that term in your verse? Now you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I don't even know what to come up with. I don't know how to do this. Well, if we go back to Teams, you're going to see that there is a third reference there. This third reference is an article from, where did I get this from? Rolling Stone. This article actually explains how this song has become very relevant to the time period that we're in. And if you read through this article, you'll see that some people took to Twitter to actually come up with their own verses to this song. So you can see coronavirus, CDC, no one goes to Italy, cruise ship stuck, there is no TP, private flights, no NBA. So you can come up with your own terms. They can be short as coronavirus, CDC, or as long as stock markets all derailed. Okay, and I want you to use the time period that we are in to inform a verse of your own. And remember, you are going to explain every piece that you include. What I would really like you to do is come up with your own verse. Again, do not copy from the reference. If you copy from that Rolling Stone article any of those verses, you will not get credit for this part of the project. Okay, no copying, be original. Of course, some of you are going to put coronavirus in your in your verse. That's okay. You're going to also have to explain why you included it, but I don't want to see you copying a verse from that article and claiming it as your own. Remember, 7 to 10 terms that you pulled from this time period. Now we've got one more part to this project. You are going to compare your original song to the creation that you came up with. So what do I mean by that? You are going to identify and explain a connection between the terms, historical figures of events in your verse and the original song. The question that I really want you looking at is, what kind of figures and events were included in your song versus the song that came out in the 1980s? Okay, why are they similar? Did you look at the significance of the people, places, events from the original song, and then use that as a basis of creating your own verse? Just tell me in a short paragraph, just 3 to 5 sentences here, comparing your original creation to the original song. And you can also use that third reference from the Rolling Stone, that article, to kind of help you explain a connection. It'll help you identify that connection. Now, again, on the following page, I included those sections with all of the verses to the song. Remember, you are only choosing one verse from each section to do that part one on. Do not copy from any of the references, and I want to look at the checklist and the rubric with you as well, so you know how you're going to be graded on this project. So let's go ahead and flip to those. Those are also going to be in teams. You can see the final checklist and the final rubric are also there. So let's look at the checklist first. This is going to be a great way for you to see, did I do this whole project? I know there's a lot of parts, there's a lot of pieces moving, so we want to make sure that we've got this down. So this is part one, identification and definition of the terms. For each verse, you've got a possible of 7 points. You want to make sure that you do all 5 of the verses that you need, and then all of the terms within each of those. So part one is out of a total of 38 points. The significance of the term, that is also a separate set of points. You're going to get 38 points out of that as well. So this is the definition, and then this is the significance. So that part one really holds a large chunk of the points for this project. The writing of your own personal verse, that's going to be out of 8 points. You've got to write your own verse, and then the defining of the significance of each of those terms is another 8 points. That final piece, the comparison between the original song and your own personal verse, is out of 8 points. This total project is out of 100 points. That's how you'll be graded. So if you want to go back and use this as a checklist, don't even worry about the numbers and just say, okay, did I define all 7 terms from the first verse I picked? Okay, check it off. And then you can go and do that for each piece here to make sure you completed everything for the project. Now, let's look at the rubric. How do I get all of those points? When I am reading your definition, I am looking for you to clearly identify the time period of the figure or event, and I want you to accurately define the figure and event. That's going to get you the highest amount of points there. I also want you to clearly identify and defend the reason for the inclusion. That's the answering of the question, why? The writing of your own personal verse, we're just looking for it to be unique. I want it to be unique, and I want your terms to be relevant. Don't pick something like 9/11. That was from, a very long time ago. We want it current. We want it to be in 2020. That's relevant terms. Uh, I want you to look at the significance of your own terms. You've got to identify and defend a reason why you included those in there. And then the last piece, in order to get the most points there, we want you to draw a clear comparison from the original song to your personal verse. Just any connection that you can come up with. Okay, so this is how you'll be graded. This is what I am looking for in your rubric. Now there's a couple more things that I want to show you in Teams. This is just one place that you can find all of the documents that you'll need for your project. The second place you're going to find those is if you click on the US History option. Okay, you've got a couple of things here. We've gotten to know Wakelet pretty well. If we click on that W that says your final project, you're going to find a Wakelet. What you see here is you've got your calendar for your final project. Remember, it's due on the 12th by 11:59, okay? You're going to find that first document that I was working off of. If you click on that, that's going to give you the explanation for your whole project. You've got the song here in case you want to listen to it. We didn't start the fire. This is that Rolling Stone article. You've got a brief overview of all the parts in case you forget. And a reminder here to be original. Do not copy from the last two pieces here, which are those websites that talk about all of the different pieces of the song there, all of the different terms. Now, if you go back to the original page, you've got all of your resources here. They are embedded into Teams, so you don't even have to go and look for them. This is the first one that I was talking to you about, and if we go back, you can see that the second resource is there, all those definitions again for each part of the song, and then the article from Rolling Stone is also embedded in there for you to look at. So one more place that you can find everything, if you click on files, again, you're going to find the final assessment explanation there. If you click on that, that's that first document that I was looking at with you, and the rubric and the checklist as well. So that is just a brief overview of how to find everything that you need for the project and a little explanation for that. I am going to be posting this video in our US History Teams as well as the final project so that you can get to it in a couple of different places. As always, if there's any questions, please let me know. Go ahead and get a hold of me through email, through Teams, and I will do my best to help you with it. Good luck, guys.